We're used to hearing a lot of fascinating things about the places that we can visit. And when a location captures our curiosity, we think, "Oh, that sounds amazing. I should totally add this to my bucket list and see it for myself." But what about the places we can't visit? Well, we're not talking about Area 51 or the Doomsday Vault. Those have already had their fair share of conspiracy theories. No, we're talking about ancient sites, places that hold centuries of history, culture, and mystery. Yet, for one reason or another, are completely off limits. Some are too fragile to handle visitors, some are locked away by governments and others. Well, getting too close might just be the last thing you ever do. So, join us on this journey to explore 15 ancient sites that you're highly unlikely to ever see in person, but should definitely know about. Let's start off with number 15, Minaret of Jam, Afghanistan. Afghanistan is filled with ancient wonders that most people will never get to see, and the Minaret of Jam is one of them. Built in the 12th century, this 213-foot-tall tower is a pure masterpiece of Islamic architecture, covered in intricate Kufic calligraphy and geometric patterns. But it's very dangerously isolated. Located in a deep valley surrounded by towering mountains, the minaret has survived floods, erosion, and even Taliban rule. The Afghan government and UNESCO have tried to protect it, but the situation is too unstable. Since 2021, when the Taliban returned to power, visiting has become nearly impossible. Even if you somehow made it to the site, good luck getting back out. Between political tensions, dangerous terrain, and the very real risk of being caught in a conflict zone, this stunning monument is as inaccessible as it gets. Number 14, Chichen Itza Pyramid, Mexico. Chichen Itza is one of the most famous archaeological sites in the world, attracting millions of visitors every year. The Kukulkan Pyramid, also known as El Castillo, is its most iconic structure. For years, tourists could climb its 91 steep steps, reaching the top for an incredible view of the surrounding Yucatan jungle. That privilege ended in 2006, when a tragic accident resulted in the death of a woman who slipped while descending. Following the incident, authorities banned all climbing to protect both visitors and the pyramid itself. The heavy foot traffic was causing erosion, wearing down the ancient stone. The decision disappointed many, but it also preserved the structure for future generations. Now, tourists can admire the pyramid from the ground, watching as the sun creates the famous serpent shadow effect during the equinox. You can still visit Chichen Itza, just don't expect to reach the top of its most sacred monument. Number 13, Pluto's Gate, Turkey. Ancient Romans didn't take chances with Pluto's Gate, a small but deadly cave in Hierapolis, Turkey. They called it the gateway to the underworld, believing it was the entrance to Hades itself. Even Strabo, a Greek historian, described how birds dropped dead the moment they flew too close. The priests of Pluto supposedly proved their power by leading animals inside, only for them to collapse instantly. For centuries, people thought this was just a myth. Then, in 1965, scientists confirmed Pluto's Gate really can kill you. The cave emits deadly concentrations of carbon dioxide, which, at night and early morning, forms an invisible pool of toxic gas. Any living creature that enters is suffocated within minutes. During the day, sunlight disperses the gas, making the area safe to explore. But stepping too close to the cave itself is still a bad idea. The gods of the underworld may not guard the gate, but Mama Nature certainly does. Number 12, Timbuktu, Mali. Timbuktu was once a legendary center of trade, culture, and Islamic learning. Its mud brick mosques and libraries date back to the 14th and 15th centuries, holding manuscripts that document centuries of African history, astronomy, and philosophy. It was a place scholars traveled across deserts to reach, a symbol of knowledge and prosperity. Today, Timbuktu is a city that no one can safely visit. Decades of instability and the threat of terrorism have made it one of the most dangerous places in the world. In 2012, Islamic jihadists seized control, destroying sacred tombs and threatening to erase its history. French and Malian forces recaptured the city in 2013, but the risk remains high. Governments strongly advise against travel, and only UN personnel or authorized workers are permitted to enter. What was once a hub of civilization is now a place few outsiders will ever see again, its treasures hidden behind war and uncertainty. Number 11. The Hidden Chambers of the Great Pyramid, Egypt. The Great Pyramid of Giza is one of the most studied structures in history, yet it still holds secrets. Deep inside, there are sealed-off chambers and narrow passageways that have remained untouched for millennia. The biggest mystery? The unexplored shafts leading from the Queen's Chamber. In the 1990s, archaeologists sent a small robot through one of these shafts. It traveled for meters before hitting a stone door with mysterious copper handles. In 2011, another probe was sent in, revealing a small, undecorated space behind the door. What's inside? No one knows. Some believe these chambers may contain hidden tombs, lost texts, or artifacts never meant to be found. Others suggest the pyramid's purpose goes beyond what we understand. For now, these rooms remain off-limits, but you can see other wonders of Egypt. Number 10. Leptis Magna, Libya. Leptis Magna was once one of the greatest cities of the Roman Empire. Sitting on Libya's Mediterranean coast, it was a place of massive amphitheaters, grand arches, and sprawling marketplaces. Founded by the Phoenicians around the 7th century BC, it later became a major Roman hub, flourishing under Emperor Septimius Severus, who was born there. For centuries, shifting sands buried the ruins, preserving the city's structures in near-perfect condition. When archaeologists uncovered it, they found some of the best-preserved Roman ruins in the world. But today, visiting is almost impossible. Libya has been in a state of conflict for over a decade, and both the UK and US governments strongly advise against travel due to safety risks. Leptis Magna remains frozen in time, hidden away behind war and instability. Until peace returns, this breathtaking piece of history will remain untouched, its streets empty of travelers who should have been walking them. Number 9. The Lost Library of Alexandria, Egypt. The Library of Alexandria wasn't just a collection of scrolls. It was the intellectual heart of the ancient world. Scholars from across civilizations studied there, exchanging knowledge on science, medicine, mathematics, and philosophy. Then, it vanished. Some say it was destroyed by fire, but the truth is murky. While parts of it were likely burned, others may have been relocated, hidden, or lost beneath the city. Many believe remnants of the library still exist under modern Alexandria, buried beneath centuries of construction. Digging for them, however, is nearly impossible. The city is fully inhabited, and an excavation of that scale would disrupt life above ground. If even a fraction of its lost knowledge were recovered, it could reshape history, offering insights into ancient technology, medicine, or civilizations we barely understand. For now, the greatest archive of lost wisdom remains just that: lost. No one can visit it, except for some. Number 8. Ciudad Perdida, Colombia. Deep in Colombia's Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, hidden beneath thick jungle, lies Ciudad Perdida, the lost city. Built by the Tairona civilization over 1,000 years ago, it predates Machu Picchu by centuries, yet remains far less known. Unlike Peru's famous ruins, this city was never discovered by outsiders until the 1970s, when looters stumbled upon its terraces and gold artifacts. Getting there is no easy task. The site is only accessible by a grueling 6-day trek, cutting through dense rainforest, crossing rivers, and climbing 1,200 stone steps to reach the mountaintop citadel. The path is physically demanding and passes through areas controlled by armed groups. Although the Colombian government has made the route safer, it's still considered a risky journey. Those who complete the trek are rewarded with one of the most breathtaking archaeological sites in the world, a city swallowed by nature, waiting for those willing to find it. Number 7. The Temple of Mount Kailash, Tibet. Mountains are meant to be climbed, but not this one. Mount Kailash, rising over 6,600 meters in western Tibet, is one of the most sacred places on Earth. Hindus, Buddhists, Jains, and Bon followers believe it is the spiritual center of the universe, the dwelling of gods, and a place where time itself bends. Climbing it? Unthinkable. Unlike Everest, no one has ever reached its summit. Ancient beliefs say doing so would bring disaster, and even modern mountaineers have either turned back or disappeared. Some claim there is a hidden temple at its base, possibly containing relics lost to history. Others believe it holds a passage to another world. Whatever the truth, China has banned any attempts to scale it. The mountain stands untouched, watched over by legend and faith. Some places are meant to be left alone, and this may be one of them. Number 6. The Crypt of Civilization, USA. Most times, capsules hold a few trinkets: a letter, a newspaper, maybe a couple of coins. The Crypt of Civilization is an entirely different level of preservation. Built in 1940 at Oglethorpe University in Georgia, this underground vault is sealed until the year 8113. Yes, over 6,000 years from now. Inside, the crypt holds a massive collection of 20th century artifacts: books, movies, appliances, news recordings, and even a replica of a 1930s radio show. The goal? To give future humans, or whoever finds it, a complete snapshot of life in the early 1900s. But there's one problem. Most of the media inside is stored on outdated technology like microfilm and vinyl records. If our distant descendants don't have the right tools to play them, they might open the vault only to stare at unreadable relics. Until then, the crypt remains locked, a time capsule waiting for an audience that may never come. Number 5. Vatican Secret Archive, Vatican. The Vatican Apostolic Archive holds centuries of history locked away from the public. It spans 85 kilometers of underground shelves filled with papal records, letters, and state documents dating back to the 8th century. Among the known items are Michelangelo's letter to Pope Julius II, Mary, Queen of Scots' last plea before execution, and the decree that excommunicated Martin Luther. The archive is off-limits to anyone except approved scholars, and even they are only allowed to access specific documents. No unauthorized person can freely explore its contents. Over the years, rumors of hidden secrets, lost gospels, confidential agreements, and censored historical records have fueled speculation. The Vatican remains firm in keeping its doors closed, preserving these documents under strict conditions. Whether the archive holds shocking revelations or simply bureaucratic records, no one outside the church's inner circle will ever truly know. Number 4. Bhangar Fort, Rajasthan, India. Bhangar Fort is open during the day, but after sunset, it's strictly off-limits. And if you don't believe us, well, you can simply Google it. The government enforces the ban, warning that those who stay overnight may not return. Locals believe the fort is cursed, haunted by spirits from a tragic past. The story speaks of a sorcerer who tried to ensnare a princess with dark magic, only to have his spell backfire. The kingdom soon fell, and the area was abandoned. Those who have ignored the ban tell unsettling stories: unexplained sounds, ghostly apparitions, and an overwhelming feeling of dread. Some went in and never came out. Officials cite safety concerns as the reason for the restrictions, but no one denies the eerie reputation surrounding the ruins. Whether or not the stories are true, no one dares to challenge them. The fort stands empty at night, a place where even the boldest travelers refuse to linger. Number 3. Lascaux Caves, France. Some places are closed off for safety. Lascaux Caves is off limits because humans literally started destroying it just by being there. Discovered in 1940, this prehistoric cave system in France contains 900 stunning paintings dating back 17,000 years to the Paleolithic era. Early visitors were blown away by the artistry, detailed figures of bulls, deer, and abstract symbols covering the walls. But by 1963, scientists realized that exposure to human breath, body heat, and bacteria was triggering fungal growth that was eating away at the artwork. To save the caves, they shut them down completely. Today, only a handful of researchers can enter, and even they follow strict guidelines. For everyone else, an exact replica, Lascaux 2, was built nearby. It's as close as you'll ever get to walking through one of humanity's oldest art galleries without actually ruining it. But let's be real, nothing beats the real thing. But what we can do? Number 2. Mausoleum of Qin Shi Huang, China. China's first emperor, Qin Shi Huang, didn't just build the Great Wall, he also designed his own underground empire for the afterlife. His tomb, discovered in 1974, is part of a massive burial complex guarded by the famous Terracotta Army. But unlike the clay soldiers, the actual tomb has never been opened. Why? Well, there are 2 reasons. First, China won't allow it. Experts believe modern excavation techniques could destroy priceless artifacts before we even get to study them. Second, there's the whole potential death trap situation. Ancient records claim the tomb is booby-trapped with rivers of mercury and automated defenses. Soil tests confirm that mercury levels are dangerously high. For now, the tomb stays sealed. One of the greatest archaeological finds of all time is just sitting there, waiting, but no one dares to open it. If China can create artificial sun or EVs that cost less than a pizza, we're sure they can figure out a way to enter the tomb without unleashing mercury fumes on the world. But maybe in hundreds of years. Number 1. Palmyra, Syria. Palmyra was once a thriving city, blending Roman, Persian, and local influences into a cultural hub. Its towering columns, grand temples, and detailed carvings stood for centuries as a testament to its former glory. It was a vital trade link between the East and the Mediterranean, flourishing under Roman rule. Decades of war have devastated the site. In 2015, ISIS forces deliberately destroyed several key monuments, erasing history in an instant. The Temple of Bel, an architectural marvel, was reduced to rubble. Reconstruction efforts began in 2021, but progress is slow. The region remains dangerous, with ongoing instability preventing major restoration work. For now, Palmyra is a symbol of loss, a reminder of how fragile history can be. While parts of the ruins still stand, they are inaccessible, sitting in a brutal war zone that has swallowed centuries of heritage. If you've enjoyed watching this video, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you pretty soon in the next one.